Hey everyone, this is Steven.
And this is Scooby. Welcome to another episode of The Feedback, where Steven and I bring song to one another and by extension to you, our hopefully faithful listeners. Or if this is your first time here, welcome. Hopefully you like what we're doing. Tonight, Steven has brought the song and I have brought beverages. Well, Steven's also brought beverages, but I'm going to talk about mine first. I have water, of course. As always, just always assume we have water, but we're always going to mention it. And I also have an Arizona Refreshing Herbal Tonic RX Energy Watermelon. Boy, that's a lot. This is like a Panic at the Disco song title. An invigorating blend of green tea, watermelon, and tropical fruits, Panax ginseng, eleuthero root, guarana, Sandra, and vitamins A, C, and E. When you can't pronounce some of this stuff, that's a problem. I'm still drinking it. That's a mouthful. Steven, what are you drinking? And what song have you brought?
After the laundry list of incredible ingredients in your... I was going to say something earlier when you're talking about it, and I waited and I held my tongue until now, and I just have to ask. You mentioned that you're proud of not taking any energy drinks, but isn't that an energy drink?
I guess it doesn't say that.
It says energy, though. You said RX energy.
It does. It's got guarana, which I guess is typically in most...
I guess it's the quantity. Is there a lot of it, or is there a very small amount?
This product is a food, not a drug. It is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases.
Well, we knew that.
It lists caffeine? It doesn't really say.
Oh, man. All right, we're already on one of our tangents. So I'll tell you what I brought to drink today.
It's 10% juice.
No, that's not bad, but they have the energy, they have the Rockstar Juiced energy drinks. How much juice do they have?
2%.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind then.
No idea.
Better than an energy drink, but maybe on the same vein. Anywho, as Scoob said, I did bring water as well. We are, talking a lot, so it's good to have something other than a flavored thing to help you if your mouth is getting dry, because all those sugars don't help. They just make your tongue even drier. But, mentioning sugar, I did bring myself an Arnold Palmer today. I made it too.
Ooh.
And I don't want to say I made it in the sense of like I brewed my own tea and made my own lemonade, but I did pour the lemonade and the tea together to get the ratio that I prefer.
What's your ratio? What's your percentage?
So it depends on the lemonade and the tea. So right now I have... So I was recently in Pennsylvania for the holidays, and I brought back some beverages. I got a gallon jug of just regular Turkey Hill iced tea, the plain old original, and some lemonade. And I have a 60-40 split of that. I have 60% tea, 40% lemonade, because as far as I'm concerned, their base tea isn't overly sweet.
Yeah.
But lemonade tends to be, no matter what, because of how tart the original is. I feel like there's usually a lot of sugar in it, or it's just like lemon juice otherwise, and it's too bitter. I feel like the aid part of lemonade is just sugar. What's your preference on an Arnold Palmer split? How do you make it?
Typically I prefer more lemonade to tea.
Okay.
But yeah, I would make it at home. Because when I make tea, I don't put a lot of sugar in it. So it's like 3/4 of a cup of sugar for an entire gallon of tea. I'm not a Southern boy. I don't like a lot of sweetness, but I need a little bit in there because I don't like unsweetened.
Yeah,
so.
I get that.
But the lemonade will typically add a lot more sweetness to it because you need the sugar to balance out the lemon. So I'm probably the opposite of you, 60-40 lemonade to tea.
All right, then. Well, now that we have, the important details figured out and the proper, not the proper, but the preferred, there we go, the preferred Arnold Palmer ratios, I'm bringing a song today that I know you know. I tried getting you to see if you can get what you knew out of it based on some, like, what's the best way to say it? Veiled hints? Very, like, loosely veiled hints? Because, like, I mean, I'm telling you how many drummers they had. How's that going to help you figure out who we have today, right?
It didn't.
It didn't. No, it could have though, depending, I guess. But I mean, if I told you they only had one drummer ever, there's still going to be a lot of bands you could think of.
Yeah.
Anywho, so I guess no more suspense. Jeez Louise. No more suspense is needed. What do you call it when you're building up suspense? Suspension? We are
Those are
listening
bridges.
today to Paramore, All I Wanted.
Finally.
Finally for the song or for Paramore?
Paramore. We've been doing this for a year. We've done 2 Haley Williams features,
Yep.
but never an actual Paramore song.
Yeah, we've been towing around it a lot. There's a lot to choose from, which I think is probably one of the biggest things. And you know that whenever you pick a song by a band as influential to like a core group of people, picking that song, you're going to get a lot of judgment and a lot of like, is that the one you really wanted to pick? And I think that happens with a lot of bands. But for me, I feel like with Paramore, like this was the song for Paramore. And I don't mean that in the sense it was the only one that should have been listened to or like the one you introduce people to, but this is the one where you hear it and you're like, oh shit, girl can sing. That's what it did for me. I don't know. Do you have any feelings about this for before we listen to it, or should we just hold all that until later?
I think that when I got into Paramore, so is this off of, and I know you would mention this, is this off of Riot or Brand New Eyes? Because I can't remember.
I actually don't know if mentioned it right now. It's Brand New Eyes from
Okay.
'09. I don't know if I
Okay.
mentioned it, which is their third album.
So, yeah, so '09, I don't know if that's, depending on when it came out in '09, that was the year I was off from college. The year I met you, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But so at this time, my musical taste was definitely, I mean, Paramore obviously was included in there, but at the time, due to your influence and the influence of some of our mutual friends, that's when I was starting to really get more into metalcore and more heavier styles. So like Stick to Your Guns and A Day to Remember and Parkway Drive, those sorts of bands, affectionately referred to as brocore or easycore by some. So listening to Paramore, and at this time when I was 19, probably 18, 19, I kind of was like, oh, ballads, slow songs, ugh. So like
Yeah, I could
I
see
was
that.
aware I was aware of this song, but I probably didn't give it the due diligence that it deserves. I was probably just like, this doesn't have the vibe that I want as a male drenched in toxic masculinity. Not that I really was, but you know, just
Yeah,
that sort of,
you were
that's
full
not
of
the
it. You
vibe
were
I was
brimming
going
from the
for.
top with with that kind of like, ooh, testosterone at a full time production rate. Ah,
Yeah, like I need blast beats, I need crazy double bass, I need chugging guitars. Like
yeah, yeah.
that's
You need that primal urge.
I really think at that time that's kind of where I was at musically speaking.
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
not I can't really say that I have given this song a proper listen. At least not in a very, very long time. So this will be nice because
Nice.
I know this is a song that a lot of people will point out as being, this is really, really good. Kind of like how I mentioned to you not that long ago, I never listened to Paramore's later albums. Like their self-titled
Mm-hmm.
or After Laughter.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never really listened to those. And then I heard a couple songs from them beyond Aided Fun, which I love. But I heard a couple more songs and I was like, this is really good. And I think I owe it to them and to myself to go back and kind of do a thorough listen as opposed to just kind of listening to the songs that I've cherry picked out of their library.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, and I'd have to say that you definitely need to go ahead and do first to last every album in order discography listen. I know I say it a lot, and I say that you need to go out there and listen to catalog when we're doing episodes, and I'm saying you in the general term, not just you, Scoobs, but you as everyone listening. Like, I'm not just saying it in the sense of go do it because it's a lighthearted suggestion. I usually say it because there's so many gems of songs that are kind of tucked in that you wouldn't know about if unless you bought the album or were listening to the full album from beginning to end. And I know that that's something that kind of stopped being as popular kind of around the same time that these guys came out, where even though you made a full album, people are still going to pick like the 4 or 6 singles that you put out there, and that's what people are going to latch onto. Not all the fans. You're still going to have those fans that go through and listen to everything. And exactly as you said and perfectly described it, this is a pop punk power ballad to the T. We are like I've had my fair share of saying like ballads don't belong in some instances. I said it a lot about A Day to Remember, but I feel like A Day to Remember putting out a ballad is so much different than Paramore. A Day to Remember wasn't pop punk, and pop punk has had its fair share of ballads before. It's not like that's a new realm for them to kind of toe into, but for like you said before, like the brocore, the easycore, the screamo core, hardcore, whatever you wanted to call it, that was coming out then, ballads weren't really like looked at and thought about. You're going to shows, and I mean, I think the shows have gotten worse now in terms of like aggressiveness and people and the way they dance, and like it's almost like a comedy in my mind when I hear people like, open up that pit, let's split it from side to side, we're gonna do a wall of death.
I want to see fucking bodies on the floor. And everyone, the people that run the venue are just shaking their head like,
But like the bands that are doing it now are like the bands that you wouldn't see it at. Like at this point, it became a popularity thing just to do it because people wanted to say that they did it. But it's like doing a Wall of Death at an NSYNC concert. Are you really gonna see? Like you're not gonna see it, but they're still calling out for it. That's how watered down and diluted that thing became. The Wall of Death was supposed to be it. It was one of those things that got done. It's like certain shows that were at certain levels that were like certain fringe bands with certain fringe groups that were just that aggressive. But even like the screamo hardcore songs, you weren't doing the stuff like the dancing that existed looked violent and aggressive, but the intention was not to be hitting the people around you, because when as soon as you did, you picked the guy up and you kept going, or the girl.
yeah.
That was the whole point of it. It was supposed to be like you're getting aggression out, but not at anybody. You're just getting aggression out. You're using all that energy that you have built up. So when you went to a show like that would be billed with a band like A Day to Remember, the last thing you're expecting to hear that night was a ballad. But if you go to a pop punk concert, you never really know what you're going to get. And a ballad could happen. I know that was a long-winded rant about why ballads existed, or why I feel it's okay for these guys to have a ballad versus other people, and I've talked trash about them. Just to like kind of tie the button back together, like I understand if you're not in that mindset or thinking that one's going to happen, from the majority of what you heard from a Paramore type band before, especially all their radio hits. All I Wanted is not going to be a song that you're going to initially latch onto. But if you're a fan of Paramore or Hayley Williams or female vocalists or just vocalists and you're listening, you're going to hear this and you'll be like, holy shit. I know I've said it twice already, and I really feel like without baiting you into doing it as soon as it ends, I feel like you're going to have that same reaction when you hear it. Like your first take might just be holy shit, and not because I told you to, but because, like you said, you never fully gave it the respect that you feel like it deserved because of just not being interested to you. It happens. Now that you get the chance to, I'm kind of excited to see what you're going to do.
And I think it's okay to just sort of admit to that. You know what I mean? Just kind of be, I know the song, but I don't know it well. This is kind of similar to when we did Little Talks, where it was like, I know the song. I've actually heard the song multiple times.
Yeah, exactly.
But have I really sat down to pay attention to it and not just kind of have it, as I said in that actual episode, go, in one ear and out the other? Not really. So by doing that, I was like, wow. And again, that was a little different because of the performance that we listened to specifically, which if you haven't listened to it, you should go back and do that. But there are other songs that I can think of where I had heard them coming up on, showing my age, my iPod by artists, and just like, oh, I know this song. One particular song that I can throw out there specifically, which is on my list actually, it's by Thrice, and it's called Daedalus, and it's actually based on the myth of Icarus. But I remember one day, like, it came on, and I was driving home, and I was pulling into my driveway, and I just sat there waiting for the song to finish, because it was the first time that I actually listened to it, like, really listened to it, and I was like, oh my god, like,
Yeah.
this song's amazing.
I'll just go ahead and tell you right
So,
now that when you bring that, it'll be a new listen for me to do, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that moment.
hell yeah. Now, I already know what I'm bringing next week, so it won't be next week. But I will. I might move that up because I don't know. It's not like we have a schedule of what songs we pick. We just kind of do it at random.
Yeah, we do. We just kind of. I think that's the fun of it, though. There's no, there's no need for us to like plan ahead, try to figure like we're fitting into any kind of anything, because like Scoop said before, if it's your first listen, welcome. You're gonna have fun, I hope. If it's not your first time visiting our podcast, then you probably know by now that looking even after this episode's over, if you want to go ahead and take a look, like we're all over the place. You honestly don't know what you're gonna get next, except another hard left, and then us. That's the most thing I can promise from you from week to week, episode to episode, is that you're gonna get a song, and it's gonna be you and me and whoever else decides to show up and listen. But yeah, I think we've done a good job getting there. I do want to say really quickly the members of the band. So the actual recorded version of the song, which we're listening to, and the people that were a part of the song, it was a larger band at the time. Now they're down to just 3 members. 5 members that were a part of this were obviously Haley Williams, lead vocals. She's been there forever. There's also Josh Farrow, Taylor York. They're both guitarists. Jeremy Davis on bass, and Zach Farrow on drums. Current members of Paramore are Haley Williams, Zach Farrow, and Taylor York. So the other members have left. They are no longer a 5-piece, they're just a 3-piece. They're still doing their thing. So now that we've done all that, I told you who is in it, who was in it, who was in the song when they did it. Oh, one thing that I should know, I've mentioned songwriters before, and sometimes we get random other people that aren't parts of the band. The songwriters for this are Haley Williams, Josh Farrow, and Taylor York, which are a part of the original 5. Yeah. I was gonna say they are the original. But there's not. Zach Farrow's a part of it now, not Josh. I think we've done more than enough at this point, which is totally fine because it's for us, or it's characteristic of us, I should say. But anyway, we'll see you after you give it a listen as well. Here is All I Wanted by Paramore.
Think of me when you're out there. I'll beg you nice from my knees. And when the world treats you way too fairly, well, it's a shame I'm a dream. All I wanted was you. All I wanted was you.
So, I know I'm probably going to be talking over that not very long, but relatively long tail out for the song. But I think that it's a good way to end the song with that kind of like it leaves you with that lasting feeling. But other than that, for my first takes, for a song that you've glanced over, didn't know about, but a band and a musician and a vocalist that you've also swooned over as much as I have, maybe as much, maybe not, who knows. What are your first thoughts? How are you feeling? What do you think about this?
First of all, I had to check and make sure that that was the last track on the album. It is. Only way to go. A song like that has to be the last track.
Yeah, yeah, because it kind of has that like that send off. It has that power. Yeah,
Yeah, man. I get it. Okay? I fucking get it. The only word that like really expresses it is damn. If I could have Ron Simmons from WWE right now with his iconic damn, I would use it because wow. And it's not just Haley because my ear went to the instrumentation as well, and it's just such a well-written song.
yeah,
Musically, instrumentally, vocally, it's crafted so well. And there are a lot of parts I want to call out. I'm sure this is a moment that it's sort of the hallmark of the song, I would think, where everything drops out in the last chorus for her first All I Wanted
yes,
Was You, and it's just her vocals.
yes,
And I can't imagine how massive that is live. Like, just thinking about that, and I don't know anything about, I've never seen Paramore live, but I feel like it would drop down to just like a spotlight on her. Everything else is dark, and then the lights flash when the rest of the band kicks in, and it's just like, yes.
So, to go ahead and make it extra juicy, the song came out in 2009 on the album Brand New Eyes, like we talked about. It was never played live until October 23rd, 2022, when they played the We Were Young festival, which
Wow.
I kind of feel like is kind of like apropos, right? Like you're
Yeah.
reliving your childhood, not maybe your childhood, but you're trying to like have that flashback to when you were in that teenage, young 20s age range, and now you're trying to think back at those moments, and then you get to hear this live. Like that's just yeah. There was
Yeah.
a little caveat. It said, speculation suggests that they never played it because of the strain that it would put on her voice and having to do it on
Yeah.
tour so many times when they were doing. Because like we've talked about this before, when you're doing tours, especially when it's around these years, like you're touring and going and trying to save as much money as possible by making it to as many places as possible back to back to back. And a band like Paramore, not only were they doing their own stuff, but they were on tons of different festivals. If you wouldn't even call, I mean, I guess you can call. Wow, I'm brain farting. Warp Tour. I don't know why I brain farted so hard on the name of that for so long, but I guess you can call Warp Tour a festival. Like even before it came back. 'Cause now that it's back, it's definitely a festival.
Yeah.
But you can call it like festival esque, kind of from when it was before. But it wasn't like the festival genre that exists now, which I think is the best way to express or explain what festivals are. I mean, like Coachella, things like that, where you're just
Yeah.
getting a couple of days with 100 people that you all want to see at once, but they're on 3 different
Yep.
days, so you have to go to all 3 days, like that kind of
And
stuff.
they're on 6 different stages, so you have to plot out when you're going where.
Right. Not like Firefest.
We don't talk about Firefest.
Did you hear that they're actually making another Firefest, but this time they want it to be exactly like the first Firefest was, so they can see what the experience would have been like?
I mean, if they can redeem it, sure, but
No, no, no. Like they want it to be like staying in really crappy tents and getting like a piece of bread for lunch and like not knowing if you're ever gonna make it home or when.
that sounds terrible.
Yeah, like they want to live out a horror game basically. I don't understand why you'd want to put yourself onto like the what was the book? The what, Island of the Pigs? Island of the Pigs? Clan of the Pigs?
Lord of the Flies?
Lord of the Flies. I keep thinking of I always think of the pig head, and that always makes me think there was more of that than anything else. But
Well, because of Piggy.
right,
But anyways,
that's
yeah.
true too. Anywho, back to back to business. But yeah, I can't imagine. Like, I know that they didn't want to do it for like the speculated reasons, like we talked about before. But I can't imagine being at the When We Were Young festival for that day when it was like the first time they ever did it. Can you imagine? Like, I almost want to look up that episode performance and then watch it together right now and then rescrub it and pretend like that's all we listened to in the first place. But like I have to assume that like the only ones that exist are like real shitty cell phone recordings, because you'd think if I Googled Paramore All I Wanted, like that would have came up if there was a good one, right?
Right.
Like it wouldn't just like not have been a top hit.
Yeah.
I'll be really mad if it exists and it's clean, because that would just be like the bullshit of the bullshit. But anywho, before we get too much into other notes and all of that stuff, we kind of talked about it before in a different paragraph of it before we started the show. But there's a quote from Haley about the song that I think we should share, just to kind of like have that conversation too. And this is the exact quote from her that she gave to Alternative Press. It was, "I wish there was an actual story for this song. The whole time we were writing and rehearsing at home, I was in this state where I wouldn't come out or go out unless it was to write with the guys. I spent so much time alone in my apartment that I think it started to mess with me and just make me really sad. One day I went to practice and Taylor York was playing this song. It was another one of his. It hit me and I just started writing whatever came to mind. All I Wanted almost didn't make the record. I can't remember why we didn't think it would work. We would have been pissed right now if it wasn't there."
Yeah.
It was originally titled All I Wanted Was You. I don't know why the "was you" was dropped, but it's funny because you mentioned yourself that you thought the name of the song was always All I Wanted Was You.
Mandela effect.
Did I say that before? I don't know if I said that before. I don't
You
know.
mentioned it. I don't know, man. I can't remember 10 minutes ago.
Well, that's the problem with what we're doing. We talked too much before it, and now we're double talking. Oh well, I said it was going to happen, but here we are. Anywho, I know I didn't read off the quote, that's for sure.
No.
I think I might have mentioned the "All I Wanted Was You" part, but anywho. It's crazy to me to think that the other part of that was like basically she wrote it out of boredom. was what we were talking
Yeah, what
about.
the hell, man? I can't write lyrics when I, like, put my entire heart and soul and being into, I'm gonna write good lyrics. And then she's like, oh, bored. I wrote this song that's so powerful and amazing, and I knocked it out of the park when I was singing it. Come on, man.
Right? But I mean, I think that might have been more of like they couldn't figure out what they wanted to do, and they were in like that depressed funk. Because I mean, they were saying before, like it was a big thing though. Like it was they weren't going anywhere. They said they stayed at home. They didn't go outside unless it was to write music. They clearly had something going on, whether it was real full on depression or seasonal depression or another kind of depression or something else that was going on in their mind. Like something made them in that "don't bother me, I don't want to talk to anybody, I'm hiding in my hole" kind of way, right? I know we mentioned before that it was a song that they wrote at the time because so I keep saying I mentioned before. I realized we talked about that stuff just before we hit play on the music because I was getting everything queued up, and I remember we had a quick little moment where we talked about other random stuff. But at the time, Haley was dating Chad Gilbert, the guitarist of Newfound Glory, and he was on tour, so it was the first time they were away from each other, and it was probably a little mixture of like a mixture of missing them and depression of not being around that person, because everyone kind of at some point had that feeling before of like, oh, this person makes me really happy to be around them, not being around them makes me sad. So I'm assuming it was one of those kind of moments where that had happened, and then they were gone and they couldn't see him at all, because when you're on tour you're doing a whole bunch of stuff, and I mean, even as a fellow musician, I'm sure it's still hard, on the other person to not be with them for any reason at all, especially because they're on tour, right?
Right.
I think that's a reason why a lot of people say they're going to stop being in bands and stuff like that. Is because the hardships of tour and what it puts on the family. Because you can't have a family on the road.
Right. Yeah, that's why a lot of older musicians are like, yeah, I want to spend more time with my family. I think that makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, so like those lyrics, we talked about them before. The most powerful, obviously, was that "All I Wanted Was You" when the writing built up to the way that it did, to have that quick cutout and have her just like let it all out, right? Like you get that moment of like, here it all is, and like that build up that you feel that whole time, like you mentioned too, it's not just from her, it's from the band as well. They did such a good job throughout the whole song building that coming to this moment song where it just keeps rising and getting more and more and more. And then finally, when it gets there, you almost know that that's what's going to happen before you hear it on your first listen because it's just about to explode out of you, too. Like, you feel it so much. Because as simple as the chorus is, all I wanted was you being repeated, it's just it's not what it says, it's what it means by the fact that it's being repeated that way. Like that's just like stuck in their head. Like you're not here and that's all I wanted. And now you're not here. You know, like and that could as they said themselves before, it's open enough that that could be about anything, right? That could be about a person you lost in any aspect. Like they're not here with you now physically or they'll never be with you again because they passed away physically or like whatever the case is, or the relationship broke apart, or you're in another state or another country now, whatever it is, it can speak to you and get you into the feelings of I'm not alone so fast with whatever you want to relate it to. But at the same time, it like there's enough that they put in there where they are a part of the song where it's not written in a way that you don't want to be associated with it, I guess. Because like I think that comes to the thing like when you start talking about how it's written in a way that's open to interpretation. Like I can see how they can get like a negative connotation because you're trying to say it in the sense, or you can feel like it's being said in the sense of like there's no attachment to it, but in reality, you're trying to find the right way to put so much of an attachment into it that you can feel it with other people. Trying to make it like I'm spacing on the words here, but do you know what I'm trying to say?
So that someone can find it identifiable to themselves.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, like, being able to do that, like, it's crazy.
You mentioned already, just the way that it is constructed musically. It builds so that you know when you get to the end, like you said, you as a listener are waiting for that moment because it's building so well that you know something big is going to happen. And I think that is just really good songwriting in general. I'm going to go off on a little tangent right here and compare it to Dance Gavin Dance did a cover of Semi-Charmed Life by Third Eye Blind. And I don't know if you've heard that cover before.
I think I've heard it a couple times, and it's good. It's different.
Yeah. So the reason that I'm comparing it is because at the time, the lead singer, Tillian, had very unique voice. I think his range is called like counter tenor or something like that. I don't know what that means. But he has a very unique voice and it's very high, but it's not falsetto. And the way that song is constructed, even the original, like it's building to that last chorus and they hit some pretty high notes even in the original. And when you listen to the cover, when they sing the chorus, he's kind of just doing it in his normal range and you're waiting for him to belt and hit that high note that you know he's fully capable of hitting, and then in the last chorus he finally hits it and you're like, there it is, because you're waiting for it. And that's kind of what they do here, because you can hear, especially in the first chorus, it's not really subdued, but if you have listened to Paramore before, you know how good of a vocalist Hayley Williams is. And then listening to this in particular, even from that first chorus, you're like, oh, she's gonna nail this. Like she is building herself up, and the band is building it up to a point where it's just gonna be something magical. And I don't feel like I'm exaggerating when I say that, because it is.
No, it absolutely is. And it's like, it's one of those things, we talked about it, what was it? I don't know how to compare it, because when did we record that episode? It's already out now. The Set Your Goals episode. That was a while ago, right?
That was a while ago.
That was like 4 months ago we recorded that. But like, if you haven't listened to it yet, and this is your first listen, or you just joined us a couple of weeks ago, welcome. We're glad you did it. Go back a couple of weeks to where we have an episode with Set Your Goals, where Hayley Williams is actually featured as an artist on that song, and she comes in, and like the way she comes in on that, like that's a different kind of commanding presence that we talked about, and we were both like wildly impressed with how she comes in, what she does, and how she takes control of that song. When you're listening to this song and you're hearing it, and if you're listening to just this as a fan of Paramore, if you've been a fan of Paramore for a long time, you only know their radio hits, or you've never heard them before somehow, and you just got here. Welcome, and I'm glad you're listening to the song, and I'm sure if you're a big fan of hers, you've listened to this before, and once it got here, you're like, holy shit. Like, I've listened to Hayley Williams sing a number of different songs, a number of different ways, and to get the power and the rawness out of this, like you said, it started off almost subdued. You know how she sounds. You know where she's been. Like, you've heard her. Like, if you listen even to Crush, 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 like, that's not even that aggressive of one of her more aggressive songs, and, like, she still has a different kind of command and power through all of that. When you get to this and you hear it, it's like, wow, where's this been?
I think this is the song that people would point to if someone were, and I don't know who, but I'm sure there are people out there who would be like, oh, she can't really sing. Like,
Right.
that style of music, or, people always want to do that.
Right.
Oh, that style of music, that doesn't take any talent, or it's not good, or whatever. This is the sort of song that you would just put on, be like, are you
Oh, yeah?
sure?
Really? Yeah? You think so? Okay, hang on a second. Hey,
You want to
hang on.
rethink that?
Is that your final thought? Are you sure? All right, how about I give you 3 minutes and 43 seconds to think that over?
Because I'm sure it does not come as a surprise to anyone, but I also watch and listen to a lot of reactions to music in general. That's one of my favorite YouTube genres or podcasts, whatever. I like to listen to other people giving their thoughts on music, just like we do. I don't always agree with everyone, of course. That's okay. You might not agree with us, whatever. Still get those numbers, baby. But I think I have seen that there have been a number of reactions to this song, specifically by vocal coaches. I haven't watched any of them, again, because this song was sort of like on the back burner for me, in the sense of
Right, so
before
you're
I
not
watch
gonna...
those videos, I want to give the song a thorough listen myself, so I can form my own thoughts before I listen to someone
Right.
else giving their thoughts on it. It's kind of like how I
Right.
won't watch someone play a video game that I want to play myself. It's kind of spoilers.
Yeah, exactly, because you don't want to be influenced by their decisions or their feelings.
Yeah, but once I hear a song that I really enjoy and that I think is at the point where someone's going to listen to it because it's got enough oomph in it, or some sort of quality that will make people have a strong reaction towards it, then I'll go watch a couple videos. There's a song that I'm planning on bringing, spoilers, who knows when it'll happen. It's another steam-powered giraffe song. It's called Honeybee. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's possibly my favorite song by them. But I have gone and listened to a couple of different reaction videos to it because it's very unique in that sense that I want to hear other people's thoughts on it, especially professionals, or quote unquote professionals, YouTube professionals, if you will.
Right, the ones that have peer reviewed.
Now, having listened to this and us giving our own thoughts, like, we're not professionals. I'm not a professional musician. I'm an amateur musician who just likes music.
I'm a professional music listener.
Yeah. But now I'm like, I want to hear what a vocal coach thinks of this, and what
Yeah.
they'll say about the power and technique put into it, because I don't know this for a fact. I doubt that Hayley Williams has had any like professional vocal training. That's just a guess. I could be wrong. But
Right.
part of that is what makes it even more impressive, if that is the case. To where if a vocal coach or someone like that listens to this and can go, holy crap,
Yeah.
to this person that's just like, I wrote this song when I was bored, here's the vocal melody I came up with, and then I crushed it. I don't know, I feel like sometimes, and I'm sure you have experienced this too, sometimes listening to really good musicians doesn't really motivate me to get better. It just makes me think, shit, man, I'm never gonna be that good.
How you get there?
How you do it?
How you do
I
that?
think for me, I've accepted that I am not a great singer. I can, anyone can learn techniques and things like that, but I don't think I'm ever going to be amazing. And listening to something like this, it's awe-inspiring, honestly. And again, I say that without exaggeration. Just there are some performances that have been put to record that you listen to and just go, sometimes the world is okay and
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
yeah, yeah. I couldn't have said it much better. Like that's pretty. It's a pretty great way to wrap this one up on that one. Honestly, just to like, not honestly, just being like completely sincere. Like there really isn't anything else you can say more about it at that point. One thing I do want to say, that I don't think we did kind of discuss yet or give enough credit to is that at no part, I guess maybe this isn't the right way to say it. Maybe I'm saying it backwards, and I apologize in advance. But like this always feels like a Paramore song, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh yeah.
There's never a point where it feels like, what are you guys doing? You guys don't do this. This doesn't even sound like you. All right. First of all, they don't normally do this. You're probably right. Yes, but it does. Like this sounds like a Paramore song the whole time. All of her verses sound so similar to verses, not in the sense of like anything else, just stylistically. She has that more of like that somber tone. She's done it before. I've heard it 1,000 times, not in a bad way. Just like she has a way about her, and then also the way the songs are written and wrote, the way they wrote the songs, the way the songs are, they're great. But they
Just avoid that word completely.
sometimes it's better that way. Um, but yeah, like there's the way those songs are. Like that's just it. Like when you're listening to a Paramore song. We've said it before. When it's signs of a good musician. Like when you're listening to a insert band name here song, because that's just how they are. That's what they do. That's what they've done. That's what you've grown to expect. And there's something that you hear from them, and that's just it. This song has a lot of elements for that. A lot of that is for the verse for me, and a lot of that's like the way the song is wrote. They wrote the song itself, just like the chords. It just sounds like them. Even like the grungier parts where it picks up when it gets heavy. I feel like they've done like a really awesome job of making a song of theirs into something different from the rest of their songs. Is that a good way to say that? Is that kind of backwards? Ah, whatever.
Yeah. No, I understand what you mean. Because even though stylistically it's not the sort of song they normally write, this sort of power ballad type song, it doesn't sound out of pocket. It doesn't sound like they're trying an experiment that makes you go, ugh.
Right.
It makes you think, not that I would want, personally, other people might feel differently, not that I would want a full album of songs that sound like this, but as a one off, especially as a closer, like I mentioned, if they had
Mm-hmm.
put this anywhere else on the album, it would have been a grave mistake, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But it's like a statement song, just a song that makes a statement.
Yeah.
That statement is Haley can fucking sing, and the band. This is going to sound derogatory because it's something The Rock used to say all the time. The band knows their role, and I am not saying like, oh my god, this band is all Haley, like it should be focused on her. That's not what I mean, because one of the first things I said was it's just they do such a good job performing the song. It's so well written. It's not background noise for Haley. I think that's the way I want to put it. You're
Right.
not going to listen to this song and think, oh, the instrumentation's boring. It's just a backdrop for Haley to do her thing.
Right.
It, but it doesn't take away from her either,
No.
and that's the important thing. It is written perfectly to frame what she's doing, not to take attention away from her and put it on themselves, but
Right.
also not to
Oh,
fully disappear into the background.
right. No one's gonna forget that the band exists when you write a song like this. And like you said, is there a term for when you like tail off like that at the end of the song, where you let the chord just kind of air out to finish it rather than like
Yeah.
just stop
Usually, people usually just call that a fade out.
a fade out.
Yeah, that was super big in like the 80s and 90s. Just how songs would end on a ringing chord.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think that the fact that that went away was good because I don't think that it needs to be used as much as it probably was then. Because when it becomes a trend or a thing where like everyone's doing it, but like I think it's really good and powerful in like some instances, not only just for instances, but literally this instance because you just had so much build up and so much of that kind of energy going the whole time, and like you said, it's the last song. The way it just ended like that, it just kind of like that, right? Like you're kind of just like letting out the air that you just kind of had built up. Like, wow, that just happened. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's almost as if it's constructed to be like, we know this was a lot, so we're gonna give you a little time to calm down before it ends. I don't know specifically what culture this comes from. I think it's just in meditation in general, but it's something called a Selah moment, where it's just like a moment of calm. And a lot of times that can be applied to music, where like something crazy just happened. So then they kind of pull back and go into a calmer passage or something like that. Or here in this instance, where it was just a really powerful song ending on a powerful chorus. And, you know, it probably got, for me, for you, hopefully, I'm sure for a ton of other people, it got your emotions up. It got your adrenaline going. So instead of just ending abruptly, they have that fade where you can kind of lower your shoulders and take that deep breath and be like, okay, it's over. Let me calm down from that and calm down from that emotion that I'm feeling.
Very healing moment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I agree. It's can you imagine being at the venue, whatever, when we were young show when that happened for the first time? And can you imagine being Paramore just like leaving on that note? There's no encore. There's nothing else.
No, no way.
Like you
It's
play that, you take the guitar off while it's still ringing, you put the guitar down, you wave and you walk away and it's just like fuck.
Yeah,
That
there are
goes
very
hard.
few songs. Yeah, there are very few songs that I can think of that you can't play this anywhere else, but as like your set
Right.
closer. There's this is
Your
of
send
course
off.
definitely one of them. Yeah, I've seen the band Explosions in the Sky probably 7, 8 times. They've put out multiple albums, but they always close with the same song, and they always do it the same way. And every time I'm like, this is perfect. They can't ever play any other song to close a show, ever. And it's been like 20 years, and they're still, that song is their closer.
Hey man, when you do it right, why even try? Don't even change it. You got it already.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Well, I think that about does it. What do you think?
I think so too. I want to make a small complaint, not about Paramore or not about this song, but it's something that you mentioned earlier that piqued an idea in my brain about something that has always bothered me about
Okay.
concerts.
Okay.
So you mentioned like, so when you go to a show and a band does something particularly impressive, like say someone nails like a really good solo, or just in this instance it would be Haley nailing that chorus. I generally don't enjoy when people applaud in the middle of a song. That's just like a personal issue of mine that irks me. I feel like that would happen here, which I again would irritate me. But something that has always really gotten to me, I I'm I play guitar, and I appreciate good guitars. Growing up, I listened to a lot of Carlos Santana because that's who my dad listened to a lot, and I still like Santana. And man can make the guitar sing. Something that has always bothered me about any guitarist in general, and it's not the performer, it's the crowd. I hate when people start cheering and applauding just a single sustained note,
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause it's not
because
it's not a
anyone
vocalist,
can do
right?
that.
It's not a
No,
vocalist doing it.
exactly. Anybody could stand up on stage, pluck one string, vibrate the neck a little bit, and that's it. You're not doing anything impressive. If the dude rips a fucking Tornado of Souls Marty Friedman Megadeth solo, yeah, give him his props. That's crazy. But when he's playing a single note and just letting it ring for 30 seconds, that's when you're going to start cheering?
It's like
Sorry,
giving
that's something that has bothered me since I was like 13 years old. And I finally am able to have somewhere to air my grievance about it.
All right, well, you gotta tell me what made you feel that way the first time. Where were you that you felt this way that's been bothering you since then?
I'm pretty sure it was like seeing Santana perform because I've seen him like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And 1999 Grammy Award winning smash hit "Smooth" featuring Rob Thomas of Matchbox 20. Fucking great song, great solo. It was popular for a reason.
Right.
And then Santana pulls off this crazy, amazing solo. And then at some point, he'll just hit one note and hold it for 15 to 20 seconds. And everyone's like, woo, yeah. Why weren't you clapping when he melted your face 60 seconds ago?
Because they're simpletons. They don't know any better, man.
I guess not. Anyways, that's my soapbox for right now.
Well, I'm glad you got it off your chest, at least. Do you feel better now?
Actually, yeah.
Good. Good, I'm glad. And now that you're riding the highs of feeling good right now, I want you to take that positivity and use it towards our social media and listen to this pre-recorded message by me telling you about those. Thanks for that killer introduction. Couldn't have done it better myself. All right, Scoobs, time to get real. Cue the Sarah McLachlan. Just kidding. We do, first of all, want to say thank you for checking us out, and hopefully if you made it this far, you like what we're doing, and you want to help. And if so, here are some key ways. Most importantly, share our podcast with a friend or an enemy. We don't judge. We just encourage that organic sharing and growth because that's how Scoobs and I learn about songs together when we do our episodes. Next, you can share our social media posts from Facebook as the feedback, THE space FEEDBACK, or on Instagram, THEFEEDBACK_PC. You can comment, share, like, whatever you want to do. Just make it constructive at least. You can leave us a review on Facebook or wherever else you might be able to. I know some streaming services allow it. 5 stars would be great, and if not, tell us why. Next, you can check out our episode-inspired playlists. We send one out every week. We're doing it for you guys and ourselves, but mostly you guys. Keep listening to us weekly. That'd be awesome too. Or check out our old stuff. We got some catalog at this point. And the most important thing of all, just keep being awesome. Alright. Well, I think that was quite a bit, but I think it was all-inclusive, and I hope you do it. I want to say thanks, and love ya.
And now that you've gone and done all the requisite social media activities, hey, we got a comment not that long ago. Hopefully by this point, we'll have more, but keep them coming, because the more comments we get, the more eyes we'll get on our product, which is something that we're going for. Yeah, we're doing this for fun, but, we'd like it if people listen to us.
Right. Exactly that.
Also, as always, I must say, go check out Exile, the artist who allows us to use their music for our intro and outro, as long as we give them a shout out, which, barring 1 or 2 episodes, we do every time. I have been called out for forgetting to do that, and I have not forgotten since. And sneak preview for next week, which we don't do often. It's kind of going to be piggybacking off of this episode a little bit. And you'll understand when you hear it. So that'll be fun.
Interesting. I like that teaser.
And I think that's going to do it for us. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, everyone, once more, thank you for listening. Go listen to more Paramore. If you can't tell, big fans of Hayley Williams on this podcast.
She can do no wrong. We're almost like a cult.
That's right. Yeah, and a cult. All you need is 2 people for a cult, man.
All right,
Here we are.
We got a cult to Paramore. We got a cult for Do. We're the Do cast. We're the Hayley Williams cast. What else are we? What else have we done?
we're narrowcasting ourselves a little bit here. Hey, I am not in my
Scotcast. That was
parents'
another one,
basement.
right?
Yeah, we haven't done ska in a while. I got some ska on the list. Ooh, Big D and the Kids Table just announced that they finished recording their 11th album, so that's nice.
That's
good
amazing.
news. Yeah. All right. Join us next week for whatever we dig up next. Goodbye.
I waved again today, by the way. When you said goodbye.
Oh yeah, every time, man.
I was gonna say, I know JC Chazé, whatever his name is, he did some single stuff, solo stuff, whatever. He didn't do too mainstream, I don't think. And
No,
then
it wasn't
he's been
bad.
in Meow Mix commercials, so that's what he's doing
Hell
now.
yeah, yeah. Lance Bass tried to become an astronaut.
Yeah. Is he alive?
I think they're all still alive.
I thought something happened to one of them. I thought Lance Bass died.
No, what's my back sheet? No, that was Aaron Carter, Nick's little brother.
Aaron Carter's dead?
Oh yeah, he's dead.
What?
Yeah.
Fucking I Want Candy?
Yeah.
No way! Something I found out unrelated to why a lot of people were found dead on the toilet was because the drugs they're taking made them feel like they have to poop but can't poop, and they die straining trying to poop because they think they have to poop so bad from being uncomfortable. So like that's why Elvis died on the toilet, most likely because he took a bunch of drugs and his heart exploded trying to shove out a turd that wasn't coming out because it didn't exist. Or he was trying to pass a turd, but it was so like large and dried from all the drugs that he took and the lack of water intake that was enough for him to like the straining made his heart explode. But a lot of drug deaths die because people think they have to poop, can't, and are straining so hard that their heart explodes.
That makes all of that even less dignified than it already is.
Right?
Because whenever you hear someone dies on the toilet, you're kind of like, But then, yeah.
Yeah. To find out it's because you think you have to poop and can't. And you're trying so hard to poop out a ghost turd. Welcome to the feedback. Don't let the ghost turd get you. What do we got today, Scoobs?
It's going to be my new lo-fi DJ